I stand here airing, and what you asked me moves tormented back and front with the airing. I wish you would manage the time to come in and talk with me about your daughter. I'm sure you can help me understand her. She's a youngster who needs help and whom I am deeply interested in helping. Who needs help? Even if I can, what good would it do? You think because I'm her mother, I have a key, or that in some way you could use me as a key. She has lived for 19 years. That is all that has happened outside of me, beyond me. And when it's their time to remember, to sift, to weigh, to estimate, to total, I will start and there will be an interruption and I will have to gather it all together again. Or I will become engulfed with all I did or did not do, with what should have been and what cannot to help. She was a beautiful baby, the first and only the one or five that was beautiful at birth. You do not guess how new and uneasy her tendency in her now loneliness. You did not know her all those years. She was so homely, or see her poring over her baby pictures, making me tell her over and over how beautiful she had been and would be. I would tell her, and was now, to the seeing eye, but the seeing eye were few or none, existent, including mine. I nursed her. They feel that's important nowadays. I nursed all the children, but with her, with all the fires rejected of first motherhood. I did like the books they then said, though her cries battered me to trembling and my brightest ached with swollenness. I waited till the clock decreed. Why do I put that first? I do not even know if it matters, or if it explains anything. She was a beautiful baby. She blew shining bubbles of sound. She loved motion, loved light, loved color and music and textures. She would lie on the floor in her blue overalls, painting the surface so hard in ecstasy her hand and feet would blur. She was a miracle to me, but when she was 8 months old, I had to leave her daytimes with the woman downstairs to whom she was no mockery at all. For I walked or looked for work and for Emily's father, who could no longer intrude. He wrote in his goodbye note, sharing what with us. I was 19. It was a pre-relief, pre-WPA word of the depression. I would start running as soon as I got off the streetcar, running up the streets, and the place smelling sore and waked or asleep to startle awake. When she saw me, she would break into a clothed weeping that could not be comforted, and weeping I can hear it. After a while, I found a job hashing at night, so I could be with her days, and it was better. But it come to where I had to bring her to his family and leave her. It took a long time to raise the money for her file back. Then she got chicken pox and I had to wait longer. When she finally came, I hardly knew her, walking quick and nervous like her father, looking like her father, thin and dressed in a shabby red and yellow. Her skin and glared at the pockmarkers, all the baby loneliness gone. She was too, old enough for nursery school, they said, and I did not know then what I know now. The fatigue of the long day, and the laceration of group life in the kinds of nervouses that are only parking place for children. Expect that it would have made no difference if I had known. It was the only place there was. It was the only way we could be together. The only way I could hold a job. And even without knowing, I knew the teacher that was evil because all these years injured, it has corroded into my memory. The little boy hunched in the corner, her rasp. Why aren't you outside? Because Emily hates you? That's no reason. Go out, scaredly. I knew Emily hated even if she did not cast and implore. Don't go, Mommy, like other children, mornings. She always has a reason why we should stay home. Mona, you look sick. Mama, Mama, I feel sick. Mama, the teachers aren't there today. They're sick. Mama, we can't go. There was a fire that's there last night. Mama, it was a holiday. No school, they told me. But never a direct protest. Never rebelling. I think of our other in their 4 year oldness. The explosions, the tempers, the dynamics, the demands, and I feel sadly ill. I put the iron down. What in me demanded that goodness in her, and what was the cost? The cost to her of such goodness. The old man living in the back once said in his gentle way, "You should smile at Emily more when you look at her." What was in my face when I looked at her? I loved her. They were all the acts of love. It was only with the others I remembered what he said, and it was a face of joy, and not of care or tightness or worry. I turned to them, too late for Emily. She does not smile easily, let alone almost always as her brothers and sisters do. Her face is closed and sober, but when she wants, how fluid. You must have seen it in her pantomimes. You spoke of her rare gift of candy on the stage that results laughter out of the audience, so there they applied and do not want to let her go. Where does it come? Where does it come from? The candy? And there was none of it in her when she came back to me that second time. After I had to send her away again, she had a new daddy now to learn to love, and I think perhaps it was a better time. Except when we left her alone nights, telling ourselves she was old enough. Can't you go some other time, Mommy? Like tomorrow? She asked. Will it be just a little while gone? You will be gone. Do you promise? The time we came back, the front door opened, the clock on the floor in the hall. She rigid awake. It wasn't just a little while. I didn't cry. 3 times I called you, just 3 times. And then I ran down street to open the door so you could come faster. The clock talked aloud. I threw it away. It scared me. What is talked? She said the clock talked loud again. That night I went to the hospital to have Susan. She was delirious with her fever that came before red mouth, but she was fully conscious all the week I was gone and the week after we were home, when she could not come near the new baby or me. She did not get well. She stayed the skeleton thing, not wanting to cat, and night after night, she had nightmares. She would call for me. And I would rouse from exhaustion to sleepy call back. You're all right, darling. Go to sleep. It's just a dream. And if she still called in a sterner voice, no, go to sleep, Emily. There's nothing to hurt you. Twice, only twice, when we had to get up for Susan anyhow, I went into the city with her. Now, when it is too late, as if she would let me hold and comfort her like I do the others, I get up and go to her at once at her moan or restless stirring. Are you awake, Emily? Can I get you something? And the answer is always the same. No, I'm all right. Go back to sleep, mother. They persuaded me at the clinic to send her away to Governance home in the country where she can have a kind of food and care you can't manage for her, and you will be free to concentrate on the new baby. They still send children to that place. I see pictures on the society page of sleek young women planning affairs to raise money for it, or dancing at the affairs, or decorating Easter eggs, or filling Christmas stockings for the children. They never have a picture of children, so I do not know if the girls still wear those gigantic red bow and revert the look on the every other Sunday when parents can come to visit, unless otherwise notified, as we were notified the first 6 weeks. Oh, it is the handsome place. Green lawns and torches and fluted flower beds. High up on the balconies of each cottage, the children stand. The girls in their red bow and the white dresses. The boys in the white suits and the giant red ties. The parents stand below, shouting up to be heard, and the children shout down to be heard, and between them the invisible wall, not to be commented by parental dreams or physical affection. There was a tiny girl who always stood hand in hand with Emily. Her parents never came. One visitor, she was gone. They moved her to Rose Cottage. Emily shouted in explanation. They don't like you to leave anybody here. She wrote once a week, labored writing of a 7-year-old. I am fine. How is the baby? If I write my eyes are nicely, I will have a star. Love. There never was a star. We wrote every other day. Letters she could never hold or keep, but only her read once. We simply do not have room for children to keep any personal possessions. The patiently explained when we pissed on Sundays, shuffling together to plan how much it would mean to Emily, who loved so to keep things, to be allowed to keep her letter and cards. Each visit she looked fairer. She isn't eating, they told us. They had running eggs for breakfast or mash with lumps. Emily said later. I'd hold it in my mouth and not swallow. Nothing ever tasted good, just when they had chicken. It took us 8 months to get her released home, and only the fact that she gained back so little of her 7 lost pounds convinced the social worker. I used to try to hold and love her after she came back, but her body would stay stiff, and after a while she'd push away. She ate little. Food sickened her, and I think much of life too. Um, she had physical lightness and brightness, drinking by on skate, bouncing like a ball up and down over the jump rope, skimming over the hill. But these were momentary. She reflected about her appearance, thin and dark and foreign, looking at the time when every little girl was supposed to look or thought she should look a tempting blonde repeat of Shelling Temple. The doorbell sometimes rang for her, but no one seemed to be come and play in the house or be a best friend. Maybe because we moved so much. There was a boy she loved painfully through two school semesters. Months later, she told me how she had taken pennies from my purse to buy him candy. Licorice was his favorite, and I brought him some every day. But he still liked Jennifer better than me. Why, Mommy? The kind of question for which there is no answer. School was a worry to her. She was not glib or quick in a world where glibness and quickness were easily confused with the ability to learn. To her overworked and exploited teachers, she was over-conscientious, slow learner who kept trying to catch up and was absent entirely too often. I liked her to be absent, though something the illness was imaginary. How different from my now strictness about attendance with others. I wasn't working. We had a new baby. I was home anyhow. Sometimes after Susan grew old enough, I would keep her home from school to have them all together. Mostly Emily and asthma, and her breathing, harsh and lowered, would fill the house with the chorously trimmed sound. I would bring the 2 old dresser mirrors and her box of collections to her bed. She would select the bed and single areas both top and shell, drive the flower and pebbles, old postcard and scraps, all sorts of old mans. Then she and Susan would play kingdom, set up landscape and furniture, peopling them with action. Those were those were the only time for peaceful companionship between her and Susan. I have egged away from it, and that poisonous feeling between them, that terrible balancing of hers and needs I had to do between the two, and did so badly. Those earlier years. Oh, there are conflicts between the others too. Each one human, needing, demanding, hurting, talking, but only between Emily and Susan. No, Emily towards Susan that courting resentment. It seemed so obvious on the surface, yet it is not obvious. Susan, the second child, Susan, golden and clarity, held and trembling, quick and articulate and asserted. Everything in appearance and manner Emily was not. Susan, not able to resist Emily's persisting. Nothing or something comes breaking them. Susan telling jokes and riddles to company for applause while Emily sat silent. To see me later, that was my riddle, mother. I told it to Susan. Susan, who for all the 5 years different in age was just a year behind Emily in developing physically. I'm glad for that slow physical development that's widened the difference between her and her contemporaries. Though she suffered over it, she was too vulnerable for that terrible world of useful competition, of preening and parading, of constant measuring of yourself against every other, of even if I had that copper hair, if I had the skin. She told herself enough about not looking like the others. There was enough of the answerness, the having to be conscious of words before you speak, the constant caring, what are they thinking of me, without having it all managed by the macreless physical drivers. Rennie is calling. He was glad I changed him. It was really there was such a cry now. That time of motherhood is almost behind me, when the ear is not one's own but must always be racked and listening for the child cry. The child call. We sit for a while and I hold him. I looking out over the city spread in crowded with its soft elsewhere of lighting. Struggling. He breathes and curls closer. I carry him back to bed, asleep, struggling. A family word inherited from Emily. Struggling, invented by her to say comfort. In this and other ways she leaves herself. I say aloud and startle at my saying it. What do I mean? What did I start to gather together to try and make coherent? I was at the terrible, growing years, war years. I do not remember them well. I was working. There was 4 smiling one now. There was no time for her. She had to help be a mother, and a housekeeper and shopper. She had to set herself. Mornings of Chris and near hysteria, trying to get in clothes patched, hair bun, combed, coats and shoes found. Everyone to school or child care on time, the baby ready for transportation, and always the paper screamed on by a smaller one. The book looked at by student mislaid, the homework not done, running out to that huge school where she was once. She was lost. She was a job, soaring over the unpreparedness, stammering and answer in her class, in her classes. There was so little time left a night after the keys were bedded down. Wait a moment. She would struggle over books, always eating. It was in those years she developed her innermost appetite that is lingering in our family. And I would be ironing, or preparing food for the next day, or writing email to Bill, or tending the baby. Sometimes to make me laugh, or out of her despair. She would eliminate happening or types at school. I think I said once, why don't you do something like this in the school amateur show? Amateur show. One morning, she phoned me at work, hardly understandably through the weeping. Mother, I did it. I won. They give me first prize. They climbed and climbed, wouldn't let me go. Now, sadly, she was something, and as impressed in her difference as she had been in anonymity. She began to be asked to perform at other high schools, even in colleges. Then, at City, a stable wide affairs. The first one we went to, I only recognized her that first moment when thin, shy, she almost drowning herself into the curtains. Then, was this Emily? The control, the command, the convulsions, and the deadly clothing, the spell, then the roaring, the stammering elders, unwilling to let this real and precious laughter out of their lives. Afterwards, you ought to do something about her with a gift like that, but without money or knowing how. What does one do? We have left it all to her, and the gift has as often added inside, glodged and clotted, has been used and growing. She is coming. She runs up the stairs to at the time with her lighting, graceful step. And no, she is happy tonight. Whatever it was, that ocean that you call did not happen today. Aren't you ever going to finish the ironing, Mother? Wistfully pining his mother on a rocker. I'd have to paint my standing over a ironing board. This is one of her communicative nights, and she tells me everything and nothing as she fixes herself a plate of food out of the icebox. She is so lovely. Why did you want me to come in at all? Why were you concerned? She will find her way. She starts up the stairs to bed. Don't get me up with the resting in the morning. But I thought you were having midterms. Oh, those. She comes back in, kisses me, and says quiet lighting. In a couple of years, when we all be a ton, Dad, they won't matter a bit. She had said it before, she believes it, but because I have been doubting the past and all that compound a human being is so heavy and meaningful in me. I cannot enjoy it tonight. I will never total it all. I will never come in to say she was a child seldom smiled at. Her father left me before she was a year old. I had to work her first 6 years when there was work. Or I sent her home and to his relatives. There were years she had care she hated. She was dark and thin, and foreign-looking in a world where the pristine went to be blueness and curly hair and deepens. She was slow where glibness was prized. She was a child of anxious, not proud, love. We were poor and could not afford for her the sort of easy growth. I was a young mother. I was a distracted mother. There were the other children pushing up, demanding. Her younger sister seemed all that she was not. There were years she did not want me to touch her. She kept too much in herself. Her life was such she had to keep too much in herself. My wisdom came too late. She had much to her and probably little welcome of it. She is a child of her age, of desperation, of war, of fear. Let her be. So all that is in her will not bloom. But in how many does it? There is still enough to love it to live by. Only help her to know, help make it so there is cause for her to know that she is more than this distress on the ironing board.